Hey, this is Sniper Bob. This video I'm going to explain how to OCA like a boss using the B1. So for those of you who aren't already aware, in BMS you can fly pretty much any aircraft. I think any aircraft really. It just doesn't have its well, most of them don't have their own unique cockpits. A few of them do. I think the Mirage, the F-15, a couple others. Anyway, to select one of those other aircraft, go to the OOB. You just find it on the list here. So I'm in the B-1B bomber squadron here. So if you the info button, you can click join. I'm already in it. But I'll click it anyway. It'll let you see the frag order for that squadron. You can create new packages and stuff like that as well. So I've got one OCA strike on. Zoom in here. This one, Seoul Air Base. Let's go to the loadout real quick. So the B1 can carry quite a few bombs. I'm gonna pick the GBU 3B. There we go, 24. Fuel, it carries 195,000 pounds of fuel. So on your little indicator in the cockpit, it will start out saying 95000. And then once it reaches 0, it will then wrap around and go back to 99,000 again. This isn't as much as you would think, though. I'll show you in a minute. Anyway, all you have to do is select your targets like normal for the target steer points. So I'm going to pick some stuff here. I'm going to kind of just go down the list, starting at number 9, I think. Oh, shoot, where'd it go? There we go. I'm going to go put all these in, and then I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I put in target steer points 9 through 24. Just kind of went from the top down. Most of the things that are important will require 2 of the GBU 31s to take out. So control towers and runways usually require 2. So targets 9 through 16 will require 2 GBUs. Most of the hangars and the ammo dumps tend to require 1. So that'll be 17 through 24. And I'm going to put 1 bomb in each. In total, that will give me all 24 munitions dropped. And we're going to do all of this in one pass, hitting all of the targets that we've selected on this airfield. So let's go ahead and hop in the plane. Okay, so we are sitting on the runway here, ready for takeoff. The first thing you want to do is you control both the flaps and the leading edge flaps manually. Now the leading edge flaps do nothing beneficial, really, that I can tell. They just seem to increase the angle of attack and generally make the aircraft fly a little bit worse. So you're going to want to hit Alt F11 to raise those up. There we go. This is kind of required for takeoff. So the B1 is pretty fuel inefficient. As I go to full throttle here, yep, see, it just pegs the flow meter. And if we take a look at our fuel gauge, you can see that it depletes quite rapidly. It's also a little bit on the slow side taking off here. So what we're going to do is, with our leading edge flaps up, we're going to accelerate towards the end of the runway normally. If we hit the afterburn, I'll show you what happens here. Yep, see, that's a lot of fuel gone. That was about 1,000 pounds there. So we don't want to do that. Instead, we'll go full throttle without afterburner, military power, to the end, and when we feel like we're about to fly off the end of the runway and crash, this one will smoothly rotate. We'll use the tail to push us up into the air, and then quickly raise the landing gear. So this is concerning right about here. So rotate, there we go, and raise the gear. Fantastic. Alright, so we are on our way to the target now. So during the takeoff roll, well, I should say, once you pop up into the air at the very end of it, as you use the tail to hoist yourself up into the air, what will happen is the B-1 will pop up into the air and then immediately start falling back towards the pavement again. And so you'll have about a second, maybe 2 seconds, to quickly raise the landing gear. And when you do that, it will greatly decrease your angle of attack and allow you to actually climb out without slamming back into the ground and dying. So, anyway, now that we are on the way, we're going to set up our weapons. We'll go to air-to-ground mode here. Now, the way this works is we're going to set our ripple quantity to 24. We want all of our bombs to release in one pass. Now the way this is going to work is we're going to select our first target steer point, we're going to fly the fall line, and we're going to hold the pickle button, it will release, and then as it's releasing munitions we're going to cycle through our steer points, and it's going to cause all the subsequent JDAMs that drop out of this thing to target whatever steer point is selected when that particular munition releases. So the first 9 through 16 we're going to drop 2 JDAMs and then cycle to the next one, 2 JDAMs, cycle to the next one, over and over. And then from 17 onwards we're going to drop a single JDAM. And this will all happen in one pass. You control how quickly the releases occur, how much time you have to cycle between these target steer points by adjusting the impact spacing. So I'm going to set it to 500 feet, which is a little bit on the fast side, but since we are dropping 24 of these things, we've got 500 foot spacing between each bomb, so 10 bombs is 5,000 feet in total, which is close to a mile, so it's going to take a little bit over 2 miles or thereabouts to release all 24 of these. So those last couple of bombs are going to have to make some kind of substantial corrections. But it's definitely enough time to cycle through the steer points. You'll see how it goes. It's not too bad. Alright, so we've just crossed the 15,000 foot line here. We're still burning quite a bit of fuel, and we've used up somewhere around, I think it was 20,000 pounds to get to this point. We've still got quite a bit of flight time left. So you see, the fuel isn't quite as much as you first think it is. So try to avoid using the afterburner as much as possible. It's really quite handy once you have to run away from something, 'cause you will reach Mach 1.1, 1.15 pretty quickly, but it does burn a lot of fuel. Even at very high altitudes, this fuel level just plummets like a rock. Okay, we are... oh, well, he just disappeared. It seems that Glorious Leader is not so excited about our plan to strike his airfield. There was a MiG-23 and briefly a MiG-29 on the RWR, so we'll see how that plays out. Currently we're at almost 34,000, about 50 miles from the airfield. Still using quite a bit of fuel, and we've burned through somewhere in the vicinity of 50,000 pounds already. Okay, well, that didn't take long at all. They are back on the RWR, and it appears like they might be giving chase. So with the burner on, again, goes through 100, 200, 300 pounds of fuel quite quickly. A quick thing about the countermeasures, it does say you have 30 chaff, 60 flare.
Chaff, flare, chaff, flare.
But, yeah, none of them actually leave the aircraft, so I don't know what's going on there. We do have a jammer. The light does turn on when we activate it, but considering the chaff and the flare, I don't know if it actually is doing anything or not. So let's go back to air-to-ground mode. So we're pretty close here. 30 seconds out. I'm just gonna level off. You have to fly a very close, well, I shouldn't say close, a very precise profile to get these bombs to release. It's got to be pretty much dead on from these speeds and altitudes, so you want to take a lot of care to line it up just right. Alright, hold pickle, and if all goes according to plan, they should release. And they didn't. Okay, I turn the aircraft around. We're just about lined up again. The MiG-23 is still a little ways off. It's not really come over to bother me, really. Hopefully it stays like that. So, master arm, of course. So, turn the master arm on like a boss. It also sometimes helps to have the FCR turned on. It might just be my own superstitious thing, but it seems to work better in my experience that way. So the first fall line will come. If you're curious whether or not this is the actual one to hold pickle, you've got the carrot here, and you can see the range carrot's not within this, this whatever that area is called, but it's to kind of take a look at that if you're curious whether or not to hold pickle. 20 seconds out, we've got steerpoint 9 selected, sorry. Line it up. And there we go. That was 24 pickles. Let's take a look at the outside view. Aha. There they are. Not sure if you can see them in this video. So now just kind of bank a little bit. Switch the FCR off. I'll go to the exterior view and monitor the airfield so you guys can see all the explosions. A cloud figures. And there we go. So it may have looked like a bunch of random explosions, but they were actually all targeted on individual objects at that airfield. And so now that we've done the precision strike, the best thing to do is run. So we'll use the afterburner for that. Make all kinds of racket over glorious leader's country. And we'll just hightail it out before any of these MiGs gets close enough to show their displeasure. Okay, so there we have it for the mission part of this. I would like to also note that if you are on TeamSpeak and you are working with the squadron, be sure to call Pickle every time a GBU comes off the rail. Your teammates will really appreciate the increased situational awareness that provides for them. Alright, so we are back at the debriefing screen. 24 GBUs, 24 hits, 100% accuracy. We've got 10 kills. There were, I believe, 16 individual targets. So that means that we've also damaged 6 of them without actually destroying them. Take a look at the event list. Lots of destroyed runways, control towers, So yes, overall quite good. Take a look at the airfield status. There it is. 0% operational, down from 100%. So destroyed, 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 destroyed. Destroyed, lots of damages. So destroyed. So we did an extremely good job here. Not bad for a single sortie. So now let's check out the Tac View and take a look at how those bombs actually came off the aircraft. So we've got the Tac View open. Here's the aircraft. There's Seoul Airfield. Oh, I wonder if we hit that guy. So you can see they... Oh, never seen it wobble like that. Figures it would do this during the video. So you can see they take an interesting path out of the airplane. They kind of immediately take on their correct trajectory as opposed to gradually curving aerodynamically. But I suppose that's just a game limitation. From the bomb point of view. So you can see the pairs stick together as they're going after the control tower or control towers, I think there were two, and the runways. And then these other ones are going after the individual hangars and things of that nature. And I'll just fast forward that a little bit. And there we go. So that sums it up, really. You just have to set your ripple quantity to the number of targets you're engaging in a single pass, and then cycle through the steer points as you drop them.